tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center.
Outside the Pentagon this morning said he saw an airplane coming directly over his head.
Changed the world in so many ways, and most of them are unfortunate. The world lost a lot of innocence on 9/11. People from the current high school generation will never know what it's like to go to an airport or to a crowded football stadium or some large event without all of the security checks. We used to be a little bit more innocent and feel that we were a little less vulnerable or more safe back in those days. I don't see us ever going back to that kind of relaxed security sort of posture in this country. So we get checked with our IDs for all kinds of stuff, and people are constantly going through bags to make sure there's nothing being carried somewhere. That's one of the biggest changes that took place in the world, and it happens on an international level as well. The travel and everything has just become a lot more scrutinized, if you will. And as far as lessons to learn from 9/11, there's an infinite number of lessons. I think one of the ones that stands out to me is, you see some of the strife we have in the world today, even in this country, where people don't get along for one reason or another, whether it's politics or religion or whatever the reasons. People are always finding reasons to not get along. It was a little bit like that in the 90s as well. But when 9/11 happened, every single American got on board and wanted to right this wrong. They wanted to do it together. The lesson that I wish people would learn is love your country and be willing to sacrifice for it, even before a disaster. Come together, know that you're Americans, and be patriots together. Let patriotism be your glue that sticks you together, and take care of your differences at the right time.
When I first heard about the attacks during 9/11, it was kind of surreal for me. I had just spent a week, 10 days before, I spent a week in Pennsylvania, where the Shanksville plane crash. I was in Washington, D.C., and also in Manhattan. We had taken a group of, at my former school, we had taken a group of our football teams to play back on the East Coast. So pretty much every place there was a plane crash, we were there. So it was one of those surreal moments, not believing it could happen, and something that I will really remember for the rest of my life.
So why was 9/11 important? Well, I think from a U.S. perspective, it showed that our role in the world had changed, where we thought we were able to take on battles everywhere, and now we realize that because of that, sometimes people weren't going to like us, and it kind of made us rethink what we were doing. For me personally, I saw that change when we went to the airport. When I grew up, we could walk to the gates, we could meet our family members there. Now, as you know, you have to go through TSA and you have to have a pass to even get down there. And it's just definitely changed the way that we travel. And I think as a next generation, you really want to be cognizant of why and what we're doing and how it's important to futures and why it might impact you for how you travel and how you live your life.
Well, the way it affected me is I lived in New York City for 3 years on a little island called Governor's Island. It was a Coast Guard base, and the World Trade Centers were my view every single day. I don't know how many times I've taken subways underneath them and how many times I've gone up to the top of them, and to see those destroyed was pretty, I guess, surreal. I mean, almost didn't believe it at first because I knew it so well. So I guess it impacted me more because I was so familiar with the area and knew people in New York that were affected by people they knew that worked in the World Trade Centers, even though I didn't know anybody that died. But still, it gave more familiarity of just how real it was when I lived in a place that was pretty much destroyed. So that's how it affected me.
choir mics in mix 5? If that, I don't know.
The piano.
Austin, do you get it?
He's not. They're not on.
Oh.
They'll be on in a minute. I can. He should hear it now. Noah. Noah. He should hear it now. I just cut it off. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many chords up there.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, please. Thank you. Good morning to your staff, students, and our special guests. Eleanor Briggs, Monica Gutierrez, Jennifer Schreiber, and our district superintendent, Dr. Ward Andrus. We appreciate your presence here today. Please rise and remove your caps for the presentation of the colors by our Air Force JROTC Color Guard and singing of our national anthem by the VMHS Choir. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. If I could have your attention once more. We are here today with our community members to reflect on the importance of active citizenship, recognizing the enduring strength of our Constitution, and reaffirm our commitment to the rights and obligations of citizenship in this great nation. Additionally, today marks the 24th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks that caused tragic loss of life, leading to conversations about patriotism, security, and service that resonate today. Our goal this morning is to provide you with a deeper understanding of our Constitution and to reflect upon the resilience of our nation. The anniversaries of the terrorist attacks in the United States on September 11th, 2001, and the signing of the Constitution on September 17th, 1787, provide us with an opportunity to understand who we are as Americans, examine our most fundamental values and principles, reaffirm our commitment to them, and evaluate progress towards realization of American ideas, and propose actions that might narrow the gap between these ideas and reality. The response to 9/11 and the threat of new attacks required a worldwide effort that had drawn heavily upon American and other nations' resources and has changed many lives. These changes led us to focus on the fundamental principles that underlie our system of government and way of life. Today, we are celebrating the birthday of one of the most important documents in American history, the U.S. Constitution, signed on September 17th, 1787. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Cool, just another old piece of paper. But just hear me out. It's so much more than that. It's the blueprint for how our country works. Think of the Constitution as the ultimate group project, but done right. The Founding Fathers came together and argued a whole lot. They compromised and created a system that balances powers and protects our rights and gives us a voice. It's why we have the freedom of speech, the right to vote, and even the right to disagree with our government in a respectful manner. And here's the wild part. It's still working today. Over 230 years later, we are still using it, debating it, and improving it. It's been amended 27 times, proof that it's flexible enough to grow with us. So whether you're into politics, history, or just like knowing your rights, the Constitution is a big deal. It's not just about the past. It's about your future, your voice, and your power as a citizen. So today, take a moment to appreciate that we live in a country where the rules are written down, that people have power, and change is always possible. Happy Constitution Day, and remember, you're a part of the story too. The 9/11 terrorist attacks changed the world as we knew it. The shocking events of September 11th were televised globally and left much of the world horrified. I would like us to observe a brief moment of silence in memory of that day. Thank you. We have a couple guest speakers here with us today who would like to share their memories and feelings about 9/11. Our first guest speaker is the captain of the Newport Beach Fire Department. He's been a firefighter for the past 20 years. He holds a bachelor's degree in public relations. He plays competitive soccer. He's been married to his lovely wife, Holly, for 22 years. And together, they have 3 wonderful children. Please join me in welcoming Dean Michael Rush.
Hello, good morning. I am truly honored and blessed to be with you this morning. Spend some time, and too close to the speakers, I guess, or else it'll feedback. But thank you so much for being here, spending some time with me. I gave you a little bio about myself. My name's Dean Rush. I'm captain, Newport Beach Fire Department. I've been a professional firefighter for 20 years now. It's amazing how fast time flies. You'll hear that a lot as you grow up. The reason I'm here today is to give you a little story about where I was that day 24 years ago and how it changed my life. And I'd like to leave you with a piece of wisdom that I learned from that experience. So now that you know who I am, let's take you back to 2001. I had just graduated college. I got a bachelor's degree in communications. And most of you are me. You may not feel like you have a direction right now. Thinking, man, some of these kids already know they want to be a doctor, a lawyer. They know where they want to go. Well, that wasn't me. I had graduated from college. I had a degree in communications. Still had no idea what I wanted to do. Luckily, I got to play competitive soccer all over the world. Played in Japan, Denmark, Norway. It was an amazing experience. I was working in a restaurant as a server, trying to make ends meet. Was playing guitar, led worship in my church. I had a group of kids that I was a mentor for, took them from 7th grade all the way to their senior year in high school. And it was just a wonderful time in my life. I was very busy, running around in circles, but really no direction. No idea what I wanted to do with my life. And you may feel like that sometimes right now, that you are very busy, running around in circles, but really no direction. Well, the one thing that was really cool for me is I lived in an amazing house. Me and 7 of my closest friends, we rented a house in Yorba Linda. We had a pool, we had a spa. And there were 8 of us that lived there, but there was never less than 20 people at my house. It was the center of the action. It was where everybody would hang out, late nights, just having fun. And we ended up calling that place the mothership because that's what it was. It was the center of our world, and it was a really fun place to be. Fast forward to the middle of September, Tuesday morning, I'm in bed asleep, and one of my roommates, Derek, I'll never forget this, comes into my room, and he's waking me up, shaking my leg. And I give him the old one-eye side stare, you know, kind of like your parents come into your room, try to wake you up before 12 o'clock on a Saturday. That's how I felt. I'm like, what are you doing? And I could see the concern on his face. And so I was like, okay, get up, see what's going on. And he's like, Dean, you got what's going on the TV. You're not going to believe this. So I get out to the living room, and we've got 15 people in my living room all staring at the TV. And that's when we saw the smoke just pouring out of the first. And I really couldn't comprehend what was happening. It was just a shock. But we sat there and we were discussing, wow, is this really happening? And the one thing that I remember from that moment, and if you've seen videos of this day, is just thousands of people running away from the towers, running away from the debris and the chaos that was the World Trade Center at that moment. But the one thing that really clicked in my mind, really changed me at that moment, was the bravery of the men and women of the fire department, police, and military that weren't running away from the Trade Center. They were running toward the Trade Center with unity and purpose, and they were going to save as many lives as they possibly could. And today, September 11th, 24 years later, as we remember the 2,977 people that died that day, what I'd like you to remember is that there were a lot of people that ran toward that danger and did not hesitate. In unity and purpose, they ran toward the towers to save as many people as they could. That made a big impact on my life. Like I said, I was busy. I was doing a lot of stuff, but I had no direction. But that day, I decided I was going to change my life, and I was going to dedicate my life to service. A few weeks later, I went to an orientation for the fire tech service at Santa Ana College, started my path to the fire service. 20 years later, I've been able to live my passion and live my direction in service of others. What I'd like to have you walk away with today, from my experience, is that you may not feel like you have a direction, even though you might be busy and doing all the right things. What I've learned is that you've got to build into each other, build good relationships, and dedicate your life to serving others. If you do that, you'll find your direction, you'll find your passion like I did. I promise you that. Dedicate your life to serving others. So as we remember this day, September 11th, 2001, many people died. It was a tragic day. And I remember sitting there in disbelief that this could happen in our home. But it changed my life. It gave me a direction and a purpose because I saw the commitment that those men and women of the fire, police, and military acted that day. So again, I leave you with this. Dedicate your lives to serving others, and you will find your direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rush. Our next guest speaker has a background in military service, high-threat security, and law enforcement. He began his career as a U.S. Army infantryman, serving from 2000 to 2006. In 2012, he embarked on a career in law enforcement, joining the Torrance Police Department as a police officer. In 2020, he did a lateral move to the Murrieta Police Department, where he continues to serve, bringing his wealth of expertise and dedication to protecting and serving the community. He is married and a proud parent of 3 children, balancing a demanding career with a strong commitment to family life. Please welcome Mr. Mark Cooney.
You want to use the podium? Yeah, of course.
Good afternoon, students, faculty, guests, and staff. Thank you for having me here to speak on the solemn anniversary of September 11, 2001. My name is Officer Mark Cooney with the Murrieta Police Department, and I am the School Resource Officer here at Vista Murrieta High School. It is an honor to share some reflections with you on this day of remembrance. Back in 2001, I was a soldier stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina with the 82nd Airborne Division. That Tuesday morning, I was asleep in my barracks room when my roommate shook me awake and turned on the TV. We watched stunned as the second airplane struck the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Then came the news of the Pentagon and the crash of Flight 93 in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost that day. Mothers, fathers, siblings, friends, ordinary people whose stories were cut short in the act of unthinkable terror. The terrorists who planned these attacks, driven by hatred and extremism, aimed to shatter our nation's spirit, to sow fear and divide us by turning our diversity into weakness. In an instant, everything changed. At Fort Bragg, we went into high alert, geared packed, ready to move anywhere in the world at a moment's notice. That's what the 82nd does. But beyond uncertainty, what stood out was how my fellow soldiers came together. We were from all corners of the country, different backgrounds, different stories, but in that moment, we were one team, bound by a shared sense of duty and care for each other. That spirit swept across America. People didn't just mourn, they acted. Neighbors checked on neighbors. Communities held candlelight vigils. Lines formed for miles at blood drives. Firefighters, police, and EMTs were celebrated as heroes they are. In New York City, first responders ran towards danger, saving thousands before the towers fell, many sacrificing their own lives. 343 firefighters and 71 law enforcement officers among them. Their bravery was a direct defiance of the terrorist attempts to break us. I remember seeing American flags everywhere, on homes, cars, even taped to windows. Strangers offered comfort to one another. The passengers of Flight 93, with their courageous "Let's roll," showed the world what unity looks like in the face of fear. The terrorists wanted to terrorize and divide us, but instead, their actions sparked a unity that crossed every line: race, religion, and politics, proving that our strength was, as a nation, lies in standing together. In 2004, I deployed to Afghanistan with the 25th Infantry Division for a combat tour. It was grueling, long patrols, harsh conditions, but we carried the support of a grateful nation. Letters from kids like you, care packages from home, and the memory of that post-9/11 togetherness kept us going. During that deployment, I carried a small American flag given to me by a student from a school much like yours. The student wrote a note with it: "Thank you for keeping us safe." Those words hit hard. They reminded me that even in the chaos of war, we were connected to people back home, people who believed in us. It was a reminder that we weren't just fighting for ourselves, we were fighting for an idea that we were stronger together. Today, as we mark the 24th anniversary of 9/11, you might feel like that day is history, something your parents or teachers lived through. But its impact is all around you. The world you've grown up in, airport security, global changes, even the way we walk, even the way we talk about heroism and sacrifice was shaped by that day. The terrorist goal was to instill lasting fear and division, but your generation has the power to reject that. In schools like yours, you see it. Cliques form, misunderstandings grow, and sometimes it's easier to focus on what separates us than what unites us. Social media can amplify that, turning small differences into big fights. But 9/11 showed us what's possible when we choose connection over division. It's in the small things: a volunteer stepping up, a kind word to someone having a rough day, or a group of students working together on a project. Those acts rebuild what we had in those days after 9/11, a sense that we're all in this together. You, the students here, are the ones who will shape what comes next. You have the tools we didn't have in 2001, ways to connect, create, and make a difference faster than ever before. But with that power comes a choice. Will you use it to tear down or to build up? You've grown up in a world shaped by that day, but you have the chance to make it better. Reach out to someone new. Listen to a different perspective. Help out in the community, whether it's cleaning up a park, tutoring a younger student, or standing at a club that brings people together. Imagine if every one of you did one small act of kindness today. How many ripples would that create in this school, this town, this world? These are not just nice ideas. They are how we honor the resilience of 9/11 and show that the terrorist attempts to divide us will never win. That small flag I carried in Afghanistan stays with me in memory, a symbol of our shared humanity. Let's make a promise today to carry that same spirit forward, not just on 9/11, but every day. Let's build a future where we lift each other up, where we choose courage over fear, and where we never let division define us. Thank you, and may we always remember.
Thank you, Mr. Cooney. On September 11, 2001, the unthinkable happened as terrorists attacked the United States. As a result, 3,000 people lost their lives. May we remember all the people who lost their lives that fateful Tuesday morning, and those who have had to live with the lingering effects. May we also remember how we came together as a country to support one another. Chief Valentine will now come forward and share a 9/11 poem written by Ronald Doe entitled "When a Part of America Died."
September 11th, 2001. The Big Apple awoke. A new day had begun. The Statue of Liberty was standing so proud as God and freedom were singing out loud. Native New Yorkers were starting to enter Twin Towers called the World Trade Center. They went to their office and they worked with pride on this day when a part of America died. The people of Boston were also at work responsibilities they never would shirk. The traffic was brutal, as it is every morn, but each day they brave it, for the show must go on. Now downtown was open. Logan Airport was too. As people boarded their flights, they had not a clue that terrorists were sitting right by their side on this day when a part of America died. At 8:46 a.m., the whole world was in shocked by an explosion that shook the whole block. And downtown Manhattan was like a war zone, for these terrorists attacked us right in our own home. As the planes hit the tower, there was a bad fire. The people were screaming as the flames grew higher, but through this disaster, they still showed their pride on this day when a part of America died. The police and firemen didn't think of themselves. Not one person said, "It's every man for himself." For to those trapped inside, each man was a brother. On wounded shoulders, they carried each other. Although September 11th brought death and dismay, we all banded together in the US of A. We showed our courage, our strength, and our pride on this day when a part of America died. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Valentine. The American flag represents the values our country was founded upon and is a symbol of the American spirit. If you examine the American flag, what you'll see is a result of the ideals of the Constitution. The 50 stars symbolize the 50 states of our nation, and the 13 stripes represent the 13 original colonies. The 9/11 attacks were not just an attack on our country, but an attack on our beliefs, our ideals, and our American flag. In honor of our flag and the memory of those affected by the 9/11 events, we would like to commemorate this day with the flag folding ceremony. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing our ranks who gave a portion of their lives for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature, for as American citizens, trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace as well as times of war for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is where our heart lies. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all her enemies, whether they are found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we may see the light of day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood and mothers, for it has been through their faith, their love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of men and women who have made this country great has been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the Father, for he too has given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were born. The 11th fold represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon and glorifies in the Hebrew eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in the Christian eyes God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The 13th fold, when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, "In God we trust." A symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom to many parts of the world, sometimes flying at crucial moments in our history, and other times flown elsewhere to symbolize our continued struggles for the same cause of liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Thank you for attending. We would like to add a special thank you to Ms. Scallion for her unwavering support of the JROTC program. Create an amazing rest of your day.